you watch the video, we want to let you know a few things.
A couple things.
Number one, we are not professionals.
We're not, so don't judge us.
We don't do this for a living. We don't go to school for this.
No, we don't.
are just 14 siblings / cousins who are trying to learn and grow and give you guys the same information that we are getting on these interviews.
Yes.
We're not just interviewing for you guys. We're interviewing for us. So we might say things that don't make sense and be like,
you're a little wrong about that one, Billy.
But we're learning.
Yes, we are.
And we want you guys to learn with us. Second, the brands that we are representing are not sponsoring us. We are doing this so that those brands can see us and will sponsor us.
We're putting ourselves out there, okay?
These are brands that we believe in, that we support, and that we love. And so we just wanted to be comical, but also get that recognition from those same brands.
Yes.
And again, shout out to Progress House for sponsoring this whole idea.
Love you guys.
Business.
Yes.
And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Billionaires Club. I'm Monique.
I'm Malachi.
I'm Judah.
And I'm Zion.
And we are the members of the Billionaires Club. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Billionaires Club. And today we are repping Malachi's favorite. We didn't speak to this, but we're here for it. McDonald's.
Best franchise in the world.
Okay, me and Malachi got cups. We didn't get any hats like them. I don't know. They didn't want to send us any.
Amazing. This is greatness at its finest. Oh my gosh. Won't he do it? Yes, he will.
All right, now for the tip of the day. Make sure to watch your stocks, but not so much so that you get scared early. Say I invested some stock into McDonald's, and then I got really, really scared because it dropped one day. That might be really bad because the next day it might come back up and I sold it and I don't get any money from it. Now for the 2 stocks for Monique and Zion to debate about. McDonald's. McDonald's is the biggest food chain in the world. Their market cap is 150 billion and they have 200,000 employees. People like working there. And it was founded in May 15th, 1940. Dominoes was founded in December 9th, 1960. People love working there as well. And they have 17,200 places and 350,000 employees, which is 150,000 more than McDonald's.
All right, so I have McDonald's, and I think one of the things that makes McDonald's so iconic, so popular, is that when you think of fast food, you think of McDonald's. When you think of pizza, you don't think of Domino's, because the thing about pizza is everyone doesn't like pizza depending on where they live. Like I was telling Monique, I like Zeke's Pizza, but that is a Seattle thing. So everyone has their different preferences on pizza. So I think when you think of McDonald's, you think that they are so iconic because when you think of fast food and you think of burgers, you think of McDonald's. You don't think of there's only a few other competitors for them. Now, another thing about McDonald's is they continue to grow. They have started very small and they grew up. They're worth about $6 billion something today, and they sell about 6 million burgers a day. So it was like 75 burgers a minute or something like that, which is incredible. Now I will say that pizza is doing better during COVID, but I think that burgers is still something that you can go and get and it won't be that big of a problem because it's fast food. So I would prefer McDonald's over Domino's because they are more iconic. People know about it, and Domino's is just your preference.
Okay. So today we are representing McDonald's. So I am not going to come from McDonald's, but I am going to list why I believe Domino's in this game is better than McDonald's. So like Zion said, they have been thriving since the pandemic. You can just call them up, get the pizza for the whole family, and that's it. You don't got to do all of this. You don't got to order 4 burgers, no tomatoes, it's just a simple, you like cheese, like pepperoni, you get that and you go. Domino's has potential for growth. So like Zion said, McDonald's is the world's largest restaurant chain, but that comes with consequences. That limits their potential growth. Domino's has has plans to grow. In 2025, they want to have 25,000 locations and 25 billion global retail sales. And so with McDonald's, yes, they're big, yes, they're all that, but there are better options for burgers. There's more options. There's Jack in the Box, there's Burger King. Not really a lot to compare, but they are. I think their burgers are better than McDonald's. But with Domino's is that they have somewhere to go. They're just not stuck they didn't reach the limit. They're still trying to make potential growth, and their growth is attainable with the plans that they have set in place. And that is why I believe Domino's is superior. As I rep a McDonald's cup. So as you can see, we do have our very special guest, Mr. Kintu Beck, in the room, in the Zoom house. I don't know how you guys say it, but he is here, and he is here for the interview. So as you've already seen our debate, and now we're gonna head into our interview. And Malachi, you can take it away.
So like we said before, welcome Mr. Kintu Beck, for you coming on this platform to share your knowledge and your tips and tricks to all the youth out there that is watching this video. So again, thank you. And yeah, we're gonna get straight started. But before we get into the questions, we wanna know a little bit about yourself. So can you share with us briefly just a little bit about yourself?
Okay, about myself. I live in Iowa. I'm originally from Chicago. Got a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. I actually attended the University of Washington for the first few years, and then graduated from the University of Illinois at Chicago. I'm a robot programmer for John Deere, and I'm also an Army reservist. So I'm a major, been in for 24 years. Been investing in the stock market since 2000. So I'm really excited to see you guys doing this, because the one thing I didn't have was anyone to teach me or to bounce questions off of. So I had to learn everything the hard way. So the first 10 years that I was in the market, I lost money for the whole first 10 years, from 2000 to 2010. And then from 2010 to now, I've been making money. So I've got it all back. But, you know, you guys had, this is a real good thing that wasn't around when I started.
Well, thank you for sharing us a little about yourself. Now I feel like I just know you now. I feel like I'm gonna see you at the barbecue now every single Sunday. So yes. So let's get straight into the interview. I have a couple questions, and of course, if my fellow hosts, if you guys have any questions, then you guys just hop along and just ask away. So the first question is, what is your investment story? How did you get into investing? And where are you at currently? We want the whole story. What's your investment story?
Okay, so mine is probably a little bit different. It actually starts when I was a little kid, watching a TV show. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Different Strokes. So some of you see some heads nodding. So long story short, there was an episode where Arnold got arrested for stealing a comic book. And they were trying to figure out, well, what was the big deal about this comic book? And they were like, that was an $800 comic book. So at that moment, I wasn't even into comic books, but I'm like, comic books earn value. So the first thing I did was ran to the paper stand. Those don't exist anymore. But back in the day, we had newspaper stands, and they also sold comic books. And so I started buying them. And so that was probably the first piece of investing that I did. And then later, as I grew up and, you know, I got into the stock market, just as I was looking for a way to try to make money, just kind of like everyone else. And so in roughly the year 2000, I started saving for it probably in about 97, 98. Back then, just opening an account, you couldn't just open an account with no money. And online stuff, the internet, we really didn't have too much of that. So you had to actually go to an office to open an account. And then depending on which company that you went with, you had to have at least $1,000 to $5,000 just ready right then and there. before they would even allow you to open an account. So you guys are kind of coming in at a time where those kind of rules went away. That was a real barrier of entry. So it took me some years just to save up enough money just to be allowed to get into the stock market. So once I got started, I was real fortunate to get in right before the dot-com bust. So that was my first experience with losing a grip of money in just a single day. And it sucks, I'm gonna tell you that. But one thing about the market, if you stay in it, you develop a stomach for it. It goes up, it goes down. You don't sweat the daily fluctuations. You come up with a plan and you stick with it. And the market has proven that over the long haul, over time, it gains money. You know, there are individual companies that lose money. There are individual companies that do real big, but, you know, just kind of getting into it, that's what I've learned. Those first 10 years, I did a lot of buying and selling, a lot of speculating until I finally came up with a disciplined style where I made decisions based off of data and not off of tips and what other people were doing. And so the portfolio that I have now, I've had, pretty much since 2007. And it's done very well for me. The Obama years were the best years. I think over his entire presidency, I did about 6,000%, which is just unheard of. To be honest, you guys, I wouldn't count on having that kind of performance. That's probably like a once in a 100-year event. But what it will do is over time, it generally averages about 7 or 8%, and being able to get 12 to 15% is not unheard of. It starts out small, but when you stick with it, you look up one day and you got a couple of dollars. You look up a couple years later, you got a few more dollars. When you get to my age, you're like, holy crap, you know, you're glad you did it because, you know, once you hit, you know, I know you guys think 40s is old. It hurts, but it's not really old. You still got a lot of life left in you, and you start having options. And being able to have that options to do whether you want to leave a job and go into business, supplement your income, travel, or just have that security that something like a pandemic and your job goes away, you'll have the resources to be able to get by. So that's pretty much my story and kind of the way that I look at everything.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. That was one thing you said, and then I'm gonna ask the last question unless somebody else has anything. There's one more question I have to ask. You said something about how, you know, you lost money. It was like the first day, and then you was like, that sucks. So did you go into the stock market, like investing? Did you go into investing with the mindset, like I may lose, I may gain? Or did you just come with it thinking like, I'm gonna make $1 million one day and that's it?
Oh, absolutely.
So what was like,
I thought I was gonna be a millionaire in about a year or two. So the market learned me the hard way. It's not a get rich quick scheme. For every story of someone that got into the market and just it took off, and within a year or two they were millionaires, again, that's about a once in a lifetime event, and it's kind of like winning the lottery. It's possible, but most likely it ain't gonna happen. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yes, I you know, even in my first investing, I invested into Verizon, a great tech company. Not that they're gonna make me $2 billion. I mean, and the thing is, every day we go up, we go down. I'm like, Mom, I'm losing money, and I'm like, this is part of it. This is part of investing. So yes, I totally understand that. Before I ask the last question, does anybody have any last questions? And by the way, if you guys see one less screen, that's because Judah had to go. But does anybody have any questions before I ask the last one?
So if there is one stock that we should be on the lookout for, what stock would that be, or what type of stock?
Interesting question. That actually goes into one of my big no-nos of what I generally don't do, is suggest companies to people. One, because I don't want them showing up to my house if they lose money, because maybe it went down or whatever. Generally, look, it kind of depends on you and what your goals are. So like with anything else in life, you set a goal. That your goal is going to dictate how you approach the market. I'm a value investor. I look at things that add value. I look at things that, and I'm trying to do this without naming specific companies, but what do people need? What do a lot of people going to use? Something almost that's like a platform. Like if you think of Microsoft and you think of Windows, that's an operating system and everything operates on that. So what in this world is something that everybody needs, and who's fulfilling that, that need for those people? Those are generally the kind of stocks that I like to look for. So I've got some fairly large companies. I'll do some aggressive stuff every now and then, but that's kind of how I like to look at it. And
Thank you.
And then your arguments that you guys use for your companies, you kind of touched on it a little bit, just in your thinking. So, you guys were on the right track the way you were thinking about it.
All right, thank you for that. All right, so I have a last question. Zion, you want to answer or ask a question? You have anything? No, I got the shaking of the head. No. All right, so the last question is, what if you could share one tip, okay, only one, and you leave this with us and for everybody, what would be that one tip you would share with the youth? If you can only share one thing with us, what would it be?
The stock market is a great way to supplement what you have, and it's a great way to build wealth, not only for yourself, but for your families. And if you look at the history of this country, we have a big history of 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. We make progress and then we kind of get ganged up on and they knock us back. With technology being the way that it is, the internet kind of adds a little anonymity, if I'm saying that word right, so that people can't see you. Back in the day, you walk into an office, even if you had the money, they could always say, we're not going to open an account to you. Now, you're going on your computer. No one knows what you're doing. There's no one that's reviewing your application. So it's a way for us to access that wealth that we've typically been denied without someone seeing us do it. So stick with this. There's a lot of wealth out there in the market. Don't sleep on it. So you guys are doing a great thing. Keep up with it. There's going to be some rocky points. Just hang in there.
All right. So we just want to, before we get to the rest of it, we just want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come and sit here with 3 kids and talk about stocks and give us tips. And you're not just helping us, but you're helping the many kids or even adults that will be watching this. But before, we can't let you leave without giving the people a winner. So you can just kind of go through your thought process. Please be gentle with us. We are very delicate in this situation. And you can just give your winner of who you thought won.
Oh, that's a tough one. First off, let me just give a disclaimer. It's almost not fair because one of the stocks that was mentioned is one that I hold. So right off the bat, I'm like, oh, that's not even cool because I'm already biased right off the bat. I'll say this. You guys gave essentially the same argument for your companies. You both talked about size, growth potential, plans. You talked a little bit about the offerings, for customers. It was essentially the same argument. I would almost say it was a tie, just because no one gave anything different. So I would say I would call out when a draw. If you guys had one more thing you wanted to say about your companies, what would it be to break that tie?
Yeah, I would say that McDonald's, it is going to keep going. It can't stop. I feel like they keep it simple and it works and people like it. So I feel like, McDonald's, it's so simple. Everyone loves it. It will keep going and it will keep inclining in how much money it makes, if that makes sense.
The thing is, I disagree with her based off the graphs I looked at. McDonald's has actually declined over this pandemic and Domino's has went up. And so even through the adversity, Domino's has continued to go up, and they have made plans. I was looking, I didn't see any plans for McDonald's except for this vegan thing that they're trying to do. But Domino's seems to have, I guess, foundational plans to continue to grow. And so that's what I have to say.
Okay. All right. If I have to pick a winner, I'll pick it, but I'm gonna throw an asterisk by it, and I'll tell you why. I would have to pick Domino's. The reason I picked the winner is because not whether I agree with what she did or not, it was that the keyword was graph for me. She threw in something that was actually data driven. When you're doing your stocks, one of the things that you want people all of the time, companies all the time have good products, good services, good ideas, but then they don't have good execution on the business side. So you always want to, in addition to looking at what they have as far as offerings, what they sell, look at how the business itself is doing. So because she threw that last piece in there she was looking at the data and the performance over the last year, I'm gonna give it to Domino's.
Well, thank you for even the little feedback that you gave us for the debate. Those are obviously things we're going to take and apply to the next couple of debates. Oh my gosh, I'm just so happy that I won. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You just tied the score 2-2. Now I'm not falling behind anymore. But thank you, Mr. Kintu Beck. We enjoyed having you. And hopefully we will be able to see you maybe in season 2 of the Billionaires Club, but we will go ahead and let you go now. And once again, thank you. So as you can see, it is just the 4 of us, which means that we are wrapping up today's episode. We want to thank our special guest for being here, and we hope that you guys got something from this interview. And yeah, Malachi, it's over to you.
Okay. So I got a joke for you guys, and then I'm gonna get out your guys' hair. I'm gonna say it real quick, and then get out your guys' hair. All right, that's my catchphrase. Somebody give me a shirt, please. All right, got it. All right, so the joke is this. So if you guys, I want to give you guys a cool tip in life. If you boil, a funny bone, it's pretty random. If you boil a funny bone, it becomes a laughing stock. That's super crazy. And you may be like, Malachi, that's pretty humorous. If you don't understand, a humorous is a bone in your body. So that's the joke of the day. My jokes are sucking. So please let me know what jokes I should say, because these suck. All right, back to you, Monique.
All right, so that is it. We will see you guys in the next episode of the Billionaires Club. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. Email us if you know anybody that might want to be a part of this and might want to be interviewed by us. And that is it. We will see you guys in the next one.